Hello guys, and welcome once again to my channel. If you have been here and if you haven't, it is so nice of you to pass by. So today's video is going to be episode 14 of my home decor series, and today I'm going to show you how I turned these little sad stools into these way fancier looking ones. So if you want to see how I did that, just keep on watching. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and remove the little legs that this original one brings. They're just way too short and I wanted them to be higher and also just more elegant looking. So we're doing that with a, what is this called? A drill. That's what we're doing. You could also just use a screwdriver. This way it's just easier and faster. Once those little legs are off, we're going to remove this piece of fabric that comes under the stool because I'm really not going to need this since I will be adding a piece of wood under it, which you'll see in a little bit. Then we're going to take some pliers and we're going to remove any staples that are standing up too much, or if you cannot remove them, then just go ahead and hammer them down, but make sure that they're not in your way. Then we already obviously pre-measured this before buying the wood, but you want to go ahead and measure your stool so that you know the size of the wood that you have to get. And we went to Home Depot and got a piece of wood and then have them cut it into two 12 by 12 squares because that is the size of our stools. So now we're going to attach the piece of wood to the actual stool, and the reason why I am personally doing this is because my stools didn't have any space for me to actually attach some legs to it except for like a little thin piece of wood around it. So what we're doing is attaching this piece of wood onto the smaller piece of wood inside the stool, and we're doing this by drilling into the first piece of wood all the way to the bottom of the second piece of wood. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but by looking at it I think you kind of get it. So we made 2 holes on each side of the wood and then we put some screws into each one. So we have 8 screws in total, so that seemed to hold it pretty well. And here's just the close-up so you can kind of see what I mean more clearly. And we're just gonna go ahead and do that on all 4 sides, but I'm not going to include everything obviously, just so that this video isn't 35 minutes long. So the legs that I got for these are from IKEA, and apparently they're so exclusive that the only way to get them is by talking to somebody at your IKEA location, asking for it, and then they'll give you a receipt, you pay for them, and then claim them. It's very strange, but these are the legs. So what we did is take this little round thingy that the legs bring and then mark the smaller circle onto the wood, as you can see right here, and then we're gonna drill into those circles to make the holes for the actual legs. So for some reason my husband decided that it was best to make a smaller hole first and then a bigger one that's the size of the actual leg insert. I'm not sure why. If you know more about wood and building things, maybe you understand why, but I honestly don't. But that's what he did, and I'm just showing you so you can follow directions properly if you're doing the same thing. Then we got these metal thingies that I knew nothing about, but they're called T-nuts, and apparently their sole purpose is exactly this, what I needed them for. So we're going to take these and then hammer them into the wood, and then once they're in, you'll be able to insert your leg into these. So honestly, all that hammering and building and all of that was the longest part of the process, mostly because we didn't have the right tools when we started building this, but then as we went along we kind of figured out what we needed. So the fabric part is the easiest, fastest part in my opinion. So we just place the fabric, which by the way is from Hobby Lobby. It will be linked down below if I can find it online. We place the fabric on the floor and then put the stool upside down on top of the fabric, and then just make sure that the fabric reaches all the sides of the wood so that we're able to staple it, as you can see that we're doing right here. Then we went ahead and stapled the very edges of this, and don't worry about the excess fabric. Later I'm going to explain to you what I did, but just go ahead and staple all the sides and make sure that they are secure. One thing that I will point out is that when you're doing the opposite sides, make sure that you stretch the fabric so that you don't have any like loose fabric or baggy fabric. That's not going to be a good look. So just stretch the fabric and pull it so that it is very tight and secure. Once all 4 sides are attached to the wood, then you should have 4 triangles on the corners. I went ahead and cut that because that is a lot of excess fabric, so I don't want all of that. Then what I'm doing here is taking the fabric and folding it inside on each corner. That's going to give you a clean fold, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue those folds with hot glue. You could sew this if you're comfortable with sewing. I'm not, I mean, I can sew, but not like pretty, you know, for like everyone to see. So I just used hot glue and it was good enough. So you can just do whatever works best for you. But if you do use hot glue, make sure that you apply the glue at the very edge of the fabric so that you don't have like an open pocket kind of looking fold, if you know what I mean. So right after I glued the whole thing, I went back and just secured it even more so that it had a cleaner look. So once all my corners are nice and secure, I went ahead and turned the stool upside down once again, and then where that little T-nut is, I'm going to make a cut on the fabric so that I have 4 squares at the corners of where the T-nuts are. So where the legs will be, I'm going to have open corners, and then the rest will have the fabric folded and stapled in, as you'll see later. So I just folded the fabric in twice just so that I had a smaller, cleaner edge. You can fold it once, you can fold it 3 times, you don't have to fold it at all. But then after you do that, then you want to staple the edges or glue them, however works best for you, but we decided to staple them in. And we obviously did this on all 4 sides of the wood. And then these little corners, they have a very small piece of fabric, so we just did our best to kind of tuck them in and then staple them as well, so that your fabric isn't like fraying at the edges once your stool is like standing up. And finally, you just want to add your legs, and once you do that, you are completely done with your beautiful stools. I am obsessed with these. They just add so much character to my living room, and I just love them so much. My wall looks so good and I just love them so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following this home series. If you haven't seen my other videos, make sure you check them out. They will be linked down below, and if you enjoyed this one, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.